Bob Maloney from MyMMAnews.com. And this past weekend, I was in Newtown, Pennsylvania for Art of War Cage Fighting 27. And it was a great show. There was some great knockouts. And one of the participants is my guest tonight, Laura Turzenski. And before we, get into any details, Laura, how you feeling? Listen, after you win a fight like that, there's a lot of euphoria. Now you got to come down a little bit for a few days. How's it feel?
It feels good. I'm in cloud nine right now. I naturally myself, I always look back and I start critiquing right away. And I'm like, okay, what can I do better? What can I change? But also too, I'm soaking it all in. I'm trying to be like, okay, these are all the amazing things I did. And then these are the things that next time I'm going to do better and continue to improve. So I'm already ready for the next one. I'm excited.
Okay, well, listen, you are 3-1 now as an amateur, so you've had 4 fights. When you analyze everything, I'm looking at your fight and I'm saying Laura's got great striking. You're still going to be working on your ground game. You're going to work on everything, but in this last fight, do you think your defense, because you did take some shots from her, she did land some good shots on you. What's some of the things you think you need to work on right now? I think maybe you're not getting hit as much. You tell me.
Yeah, so that I knew she was going to pressure in on me, and I think I could have done a better job of keeping my distance. I noticed myself go against the cage at one point and kind of let her hit me too much, and I found myself in a vulnerable position where I was getting hit a lot. So for me, I know I want to continue to work on that and keeping that distance and just not letting myself get hit, staying calm too, because I think I did get flustered initially when she started to land on me. And then once we kind of established that distance, then for me, it was a lot easier to start implementing my game plan. But, I also saw myself kicking when I was going backwards, and I threw a few spinning back fists that I was kind of embarrassed about. So just certain small things too that I want to continue to work on and, implement into my game and just kind of fix up, and keeping my hands up more, and the small kind of details that that happen when you're practicing in the gym day in, day out.
Okay. Now, when you talk to your coaches, you're 3-1, and in the future, listen, Laura's 3-1. Another fight or two, she might want to think about going pro. Obviously, that's everybody's goal. Everybody wants to become a pro.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, I guess, for that transition, what will you be working on? Do you think your cardio? What do you think, in the future, do you need to do a little bit differently to make that move to become a pro?
I want to take a few more fights. I really want to go against people who test my grappling game too, and working on my wrestling defense. I haven't had a fight being able to implement that and practice that yet that I can test before I go pro, and just it is practice. So at the end of the day, I want to take those hard tests before I go pro, before that record becomes permanent. So continuing to work on my wrestling defense. I want to work on my wrestling offense as well, continuing to work on my jiu-jitsu, and then even to just making those corrections to my striking game and just kind of becoming a more well-rounded martial artist before I make that step. But my plan is in the next year or so to go pro. So I just want to have, 2 or 3 more fights before I make that decision.
Are you loving the lifestyle? Because let's face it, you live with Lenny the Gorilla Rafati, my buddy. He's a professional fighter, and I mean, and now you're on that path. So your life is work and fight. So are you enjoying it? Because sometimes it can be a grind. I know, but you and Lenny, I see you guys get to travel a lot. So does that help too? That you both get to decompress a little? Like I said, then I see you guys traveling once in a while.
For me. And that's why I like to travel for fights and stuff too, because it gives me an opportunity to go to other places and see, and come out to the East Coast and see everyone. So for me, I love that aspect of it too, but I do love the grind of it. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not an easy lifestyle, and there's a lot of sacrifice, but if I didn't love it, I wouldn't be doing it. And I love the ups and downs and everything about it. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
The only thing you don't love is the weight cut. That's what every fighter says. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This was a difficult one for me. I definitely, this taught me a lot about weight cutting, and that I do need to take it very seriously, and that keeping my weight down in a healthy way. I like to eat. I like to have cookies. I like to do all that stuff. So just starting to eat more clean a little bit further out so that I'm not sweating as much, which I also think was an issue too for getting my nosebleeds, because I was in the sauna so much and my nose got so dry before. And even before I even walked out, I could tell my nose was so dry. And, I live in Wisconsin, so the air is naturally so dry. So I had a feeling that it was going to happen. And, but at the end of the day, I did not enjoy the weight cuts and being in the sauna, the hot tub, all that. I'm not a fan of it. So the easier I can get down, the better.
Well, Laura, listen, I want to say thank you for all that hard work, the weight cutting, 3-1, 3 finishes, triangle choke, 2 knockouts, and I'm excited for you for the future. Do you want to give out any shout outs or any love before we go?
Of course, my team, Pura Vida, all my training partners, thank you to all of them. Parkside Family Restaurant, Plaza Pizza, MMA Tea Company. As you can see, I'm representing Lenny's shirt today. And yep, MMA Tea. So a huge shout out to all of them and their support, and it means the world to me. And then my family and friends and everyone who's just been there for me since day one, since I decided to pursue this lifestyle. So very grateful for everyone, and for Art of War for having me on their show for a second time.
We love to have you. And like I said, I love, the Albanian community. I've kind of have adopted them as one of my favorite group of people as far as going to the fights, because they're always so boisterous and fun in a good way, in a fun way, not an obnoxious way, very respectful. And Laura, you and Lenny, love you guys. And I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday, and we will talk to you soon. And hopefully we have some fight news on mymmanews.com about both of you, Lenny and Laura. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.